Hi everyone, Professor Sorensen here, and we are talking about your discourse community analysis essay today. And I'm hoping that my dogs don't bark again because this is the fifth time that I've tried recording this. So, in our Blackboard site, in the content and materials, you have been working on your first major essay of the semester, which if you've turned it in, thank you, appreciate that. If you have not, you are behind the curve. So read this analysis assignment sheet that's basically an assignment description of what the essay should include. It explains it a little bit. Um, then you can also go to the discourse community analysis discussion board and read some explanations there and some discussions that your classmates have posted. If you have not posted on that, you need to. There is a grade. And then the discourse, your first draft. I have gotten email questions. How long should my draft be? Some people have turned in a page and a half to 2 pages. Other people have turned in 5 pages. However long you need to get it to, or it needs to be however long it takes for you to get your point across and prove that you know that this community that you belong to is special by proving its logos, ethos, and pathos. Now, some of you, when you submitted your assignment, you actually clicked on Write Submission and actually wrote the essay. Why is it not opening? There it is. You actually wrote the essay here in the assignment submission instead of writing it either in Microsoft Word or in Google Docs and attaching the file. Okay. From here forward, I need you to use actually, you should probably be using Google Docs exclusively for this class, at least, so that you can share the documents with myself and your classmates, because that is what part of this writing process is. This next part that we're doing is the sharing of it so that we can do a peer review. So that is in the discourse community analysis folder. Now, last week, I posted some websites and some files here for you to be able to use to help you get started on your e-portfolio. Now, it's not due until the end of the semester, but you don't want to wait until the very last minute to do this. In fact, it's better to start working on it now, because if you start sharing your e-portfolio now, it will help you to complete it properly throughout the rest of the semester. So your ePortfolio is going to be on a Google site using your SUNY JCC driven email, Google driven email login. You will use Google Sites. Now this is my first semester ever using Google Sites, so I am in this same boat with you. This is a basic overview of the site, and this one is a bit more specific to your ePortfolios and the writing process itself. And there's a YouTube tutorial. It's about, I think it's 7 to maybe 11 minutes long. If it seems longer, I'm sorry, but I think it's good information. So with that in mind, I am going to show you, hopefully quickly, my Google site that I started working on. So this is my email address, my SUNY JCC email, and you can tell that it's my SUNY JCC email by this logo up here. And I'm going to click on the grid. That's what I call it. It's basically your apps, a 9x9, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to click on sites. Now, before I did this the first time, I only had these two, which are old projects from previous students. And you click on blank and it pops up. So we're going to open up my English Composition 1 site, which I decided to go ahead and play around with and create so that I could understand what it is that you have to go through. If you've never used sites before, like me, it's not that it's not user friendly. It's just a little different. This is your dashboard, okay? This is what's going to be your home page, if you will. Since this is a JCC related class with myself working for JCC, I use the logo up here, the title of the class. So this is my home page, basically, English composition. This is the Hultquist Library, if you've never been there, on the main campus at JCC in Jamestown. Our course description. And this is a quote that I like from Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible, which is what this gentleman is showing us, that frustrated feeling, until it is done. It always seems impossible until it is done. And there have been many times that I felt that way. So the next part of this is about me, which I haven't finished yet, and then some resources that I will provide links for here in our homepage. So let me just tell you that if you are using images from the web, you can use images from Google, but you need to make sure that they are royalty-free images. I don't exactly have time to run around and take pictures myself, so I just use those. Now, schedule is your calendar. And that's when certain things, you can add a calendar so you can see what we'll be doing. I will eventually add a calendar so that once I get a better timeline in my brain, so that we can look at the class. Now, that's not exactly what our schedule will look like, and that looks like maybe elementary school. Anyhow, so if you look at over here on the dashboard, you see this is the home screen. Okay, so that's going to be the home page. You see pages. Those are the pages that we have right now. I think. No. Okay, so I'm going to go to newsletter because I want to provide information about the 3 major essays on my website. So the newsletter is basically, I'm going to change that. This is going to be called major, well, we'll call it assignment information. Okay. And instead of the monthly newsletter thing, basically I can change this or I can take it out completely. What I'm going to do is I'm only going to use 4 of these 6 tiles. Okay. I'm going to include the assignment descriptions of the different assignments that I have for my class. And that is going to be, we're going to start with, no, there we go. Various assignment descriptions, English comp, and there's the DCA. So I will put that there, and this is the discourse community analysis, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Now, this one, what I'm going to do is put one here that is in what I call informal writings or writing lab exercises. In the workshop, we've been doing writing towards different audiences, so we understand that our purpose for writing changes with the intended audience. Many of you in the rhetorical analysis discussion said that the audience will always stay the same. It's always your professor. That's not the case. Eventually, you're not going to be writing to a professor or for a professor. You're going to be writing for your jobs. So you need to understand that your audience will change eventually. Maybe not right away, but you need to act as if you have a different audience. So that's something that I am going to put there. Okay, we're going to close this now. And we're going to go back up. So you can change these templates and things that are on your sites. And then, so just play around with it. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to switch back to Blackboard. I am going to create a discussion board in the week 7, and I'm going to probably rename this as well. Where is rename? Edit. I'm going to rename this as the DCA peer review week. Okay, so that way you know that That is where you will be submitting your peer reviews, and you're going to be responding to your peer reviews. Now, before we get moving on that part, I just want you to know that you are going to be doing a little bit of reading in the Norton Field Guide. Okay, real quick, you're going to read pages 343 through 355, but you're reading them in 2 stages. As you get ready to post your DCA for peer review, you need to make sure you read pages 343 to 347. This is about assessing your own writing. Read this with your DCA in mind, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to pose questions for your classmates of maybe concerns that you have about your essay. What are their thoughts as far as this part of it? Or when I stated this, did it make you think of this? Whatever the case may be, okay? You need to pose 2 questions for your classmates as you share your link for your DCA. For those of you, and you also need to, when you get ready to do the review, you need to make sure that you read and respond to 3 of your peers' essays. I have to read all of them. You can read 3. Okay. Now, you're going to say 2 things that you liked. You're going to say 1 thing that you want to know more about, and you're not looking at grammar, sentence structure, thesis statement, or any other thing like that. What you are looking at is the content. Did they prove logos, ethos, pathos? Okay, that's all you're worried about in this peer review. You are not going to worry about correcting their spelling or anything like that. I want you to look at content. Okay, if you have any questions about that, you just let me know. Now, how do you share your document? Well, if you're going to provide a link, and this is actually where I was going to type out the directions, but you can do it one of 2 ways. When you click on share up here, you can, DCA peer, don't mind my misspellings. Peer review. Okay. When you get ready to share, you're going to be given 2 opportunities. You can either share it with people where you know their email addresses and you can put it there, or this is my recommendation because this is the easier way to do it. If you copy the link, anyone using the Jamestown Community College Google-driven email login will be able to use this. So copy the link, and then you'll go to Blackboard and you'll go, I haven't created it yet, but in the discussion board, maybe it's easier to show you a discussion board. You will then act like you're going to post a thread. Okay, so create thread. You can call it whatever. And then in the body of the thread is where you can post the link. Okay, now that may not actually work that way. So you could say it's my DCA, and then you highlight, click on this little thing right here. It looks like 2 chains linked together. And that is where you can paste your Google Doc link. Okay. You will call it whatever, DCA. Okay. And then you click on insert. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to create this thread with a crazy non-essay document, but that's how you do that. If you have any questions about that, just let me know and I will walk you through it, or you can meet me during my office hours on Zoom. So in the meantime, you are going to be reading the Norton Field Guide. If you don't have this, you really need to get it. You can get it online. I don't know if the page numbers correlate or not, but you can get it online, cheaper than you could probably in the bookstore if you don't already have a hard copy. So you're going to read pages 343 to 347, sorry, for your part, the writer. For the response part, you're going to read pages 348 to 355 and watch a YouTube video before you do any responding. If you have any questions, you just let me know.